This week, there's no significant earnings, but we are coming up soon to an earnings season. We do have a lot of data coming out this week, so make sure that's on your radar coming into the week. We closed last Friday very bullish, capturing this 59.36 level, which is a very big level for the SPIX. We're over this 1 hour EMA convergence, and we've also are approaching a daily EMA convergence. If we can recapture this, get a nice pump, that will be a very bullish confirmation for the market. The Qs have a similar setup. If we look at the 30-minute and the 1 hour, we've come to a lot of bullish setups. And if we look at something like NVDA, like we have a great consolidation after Friday with some strong moves. Our unusual options capture, our unusual options bot also captured a bunch of unusual plays. People were getting very bullish. I actually agree with that. I also took a bullish position on NVIDIA pretty quickly after the open on Friday morning. Even though I had a very bearish outlook for the week after how last week started, then on Friday, quickly reversed that, paid well, and I'm looking for a big extension here. You know, I think we could come up, we could test some of these levels. You might make a run for all-time highs into earnings season. That wouldn't be the most shocking thing in my opinion. Apple's the most bearish play, I think, if the market does want to turn over. We have this very clear support level here, okay, at the 142.08. You break through that, you're going to head back down, maybe even potentially come and see if you could find support around here at the 137, right? Like very clear, clean levels on Apple to make it an easy short position. I'm not going to get mega short unless we break the lows from last week. When we look at like the SPY or same with Qs, if we kind of break this low right here where we found some support, even well, actually here, let's check this on the regular trade hours. There, see, if we're on regular trade hours, you can see that double bottom right there. If that breaks, I think you're clean. Go ahead, full send on short position. Very simple. Market will be much weaker on a retest of that than it was previously, okay? Because you already got the double bottom there. If you come back down and test it, I think the negative gamma pulls it right through. We were in negative gamma last week. Friday, you came right up to where you would probably get the flip and then the squeeze to the upside, which makes me bullish for this week, as I do think the market's going to be hunting for that move and getting that squeeze to the upside. Then we'll see how it does with this like 602 test here for the SPY, which is why most of my positions for this week are going to be favored to the upside. You know, on Friday, we also called out a Tesla play. My target for that was this 412, was not for it to hit it on Friday though. And there was a bunch of unusual options flow. I just keep mentioning that, by the way, because we just finished the unusual options spot. And it's been working beautifully. So if you want to know what the mega whales are doing, people who will buy option positions worth $20 million, and everyone's like setting up their leaps right now so we can see what everyone's mega bullish on this year. I think there was something like 80, there's a 70 or 80 million in bullish positions purchased on Tesla for this year. People are very bullish on this name. But coming into this week, you know, we could see an extension further up. My next target's going to be this 429, maybe come right back to the 430. Again, like you're seeing with the indexes. And, you know, if you just want to play the index and just consolidate the fact that all the big tech companies look like they're bullish, makes sense in my book because it's just a way to simplify it, right? I still think there's more alpha in specific names like AMD, but do what you want to do. The semiconductor sector looks like it's going to rally. There's so many bullish setups. I just think it's really simplified. I do not think that this year is going to go like last year. We had two mega bullish years back to back. The third one, typically not like that. Typically at least one big pullback, maybe down to like 100 daily moving average, is what you should be looking for on the indexes on a daily chart. So I really like picking up some VIX if it wants to melt up down more. And I've already been doing some of that as it's come down, and I will continue to average into that as well. I might have bought a little too big on Friday, so I might sell a bit into Monday when the rallies start, and then look to buy it back like middle to end of the week, depending on where it's at. I would ideally like to load this position up if it gets under like, I would say mid 14s. If it gets under 14, that'll be a green light, but under 15, okay, I like that. Under 14, I think green light. It's kind of how I want to handle that, and just like buy some long VIX calls, just because I think it's just going to be a more volatile year in general. That's because of, well, I have my predictions video coming out tomorrow. We'll talk about it on there. The last play that I had set up was Amazon. I didn't remember. With this nice wedge setup here. And then we have these easy key levels to look for. I like buying the 226s. You could buy the 227s and just look for an extension through these levels. Keep it nice and simple. There's a few bonus plays that I want to include actually on this week, because normally we include lots of plays, way more than I include on these weekly reports. And what I really see is we have Carvana, in case you missed it, got a huge bear short report. I read through that, did some of my own research. I think this company is going to zero. These are the major levels I'm looking for on the way down. The only thing you should kind of keep an eye around is probably when you get to like, honestly, you should probably stay on the safer side. So between like, let's say 58 and 27, probably. I'm trying to do the math in my head on what the market cap would be, but at around there. Because what you're likely going to see is a buy outcome for their assets. But other than that, it's at 36 billion right now. Yeah. So call it in between like 40 and 30 bucks a share. You should be looking for a buyout on this company. But until then, I think it's going to go nearly in free fall. Nothing goes straight down, right? But don't be surprised if it does this again, right? It wouldn't shock me at all. You know, there are some bounces in there, of course. You know, this right here, you know, is a 26% bounce. That's a yikes. And it did that in, what does that look like? It looks like it did that in a week. So it's going to be volatile. It's going to be difficult to trade. I like buying just some, it was 11 days. So 26% bounce in 11 days, pretty crazy move, right? So if you're playing this, be mindful that this is a wild stock with wild moves. And I prefer, personally, to kind of just set up some long dated contracts for 2026, buy like the $50 puts, and just kind of let this ride. And then probably take most of my profits off around 98. You know, that's a good $78 move. Okay, point move. That's going to be some great profits. I believe those had like a 4 delta, so you're still going to make some good money. You're not going to make the most, right? If you want to put on a larger size and buy closer to the money, and you want to watch those contracts go absolutely insane when this thing does those super volatile moves, just be mindful of what the implied volatility is there, or even be a little bit more patient, wait for a bounce, and then play it in the shorter term, which I probably will do as well for this name. Just be really mindful of that implied volatility when you're playing something to the downside, right? And something like this will have those short squeeze jumps where you don't want to short it right after it squeezes to the upside. You want to wait for it to settle, and you might even want to just wait till it kind of is consistently hitting new lows on the way down. The other stock that I wanted to include as a free play was Unity, which I think this stock could have a huge turnaround this year. So I don't think it's important enough to include it on tomorrow's prediction videos. But we've kind of entered back into this wide chop zone right here. This like, we got like a 20-point chop zone right here. This is still a great company, just with awful management who made awful decisions. But the thing about awful management is it's fixable. Very fixable. And so I think they could steer the ship. I don't think it's even really that hard to steer the ship to get this thing back up. If you want to wait for confirmation, watch this trend line right here. If we see this trend line get broken, I think you could do full send. There's also some indicators on shorter time frames, which are starting to shape up nicely. This stock, I know, paid me huge. It was like during this rally, we had some crazy plays on this thing. And then since then, it's kind of gotten some fake outs that have burned me. I don't know if it burned me twice, I think. But I think I may go my money back once we get the further confirmation. So this is one where pretty much any time it's making a new high, you know, if it breaks, gets over this level, gets over this level, I'm going to take a small position just to feel it out, just to see how it's going to react. And if I get the confirmation, I'll load into that. And then maybe I'll also roll out some positions and just kind of look to catch the trend all the way up, because I would not be shocked at all if this stock went for a run to 40, ends up breaking out of that chop zone, and then we see this kind of reach higher highs just off the potential fundamental turnaround that we could see here. And this is a, in the gaming sphere, Unity is like a top tier brand. And if you look at this chart, you would think they're going bankrupt, you know, or that they've done something absolutely catastrophically awful that they cannot recover from. That's not the case. It's a strong name. So I would not let this off your radar this year. Anyways, that's going to be it for the weekly report. I got lots of other ideas in the Discord. As always, go check it out. We got more videos coming out. Make sure to check out my Instagram, Nobel Trading. Okay, we're going to be posting a ton on the Instagram and some exclusive educational content as well. I have, you know, we have like over 800 here on YouTube. We have over 20,000 on TikTok. We have over 2,000 on X, and it grows. It's like not the craziest growth, but it is very, very consistent growth there. And then Instagram is like dead in the water at like 240 followers, and it is like my unlike stepchild, and I want to change that this year. We got to turn around the Instagram, so it'll be the year of the Instagram. That's what it's going to be. And the year of more fun content. So I think you guys are really going to like the prediction video. I did a lot different tone for that video, and I kind of let some of my humor shine through. Hopefully you think it's funny and not cringe. We'll find out. See you tomorrow. This is Post Edit Josh, and I forgot the most important thing, guys. God bless.